Now I want to show you why you really should be working out with weights. Working out with weights is not just about toning the body. Obviously it's going to really tone your body as well. But one of the key things with working out with weights is it can increase the lean muscle tissue in your body. Now the more lean muscle tissue you have, the faster your metabolism is. That means working out with weights really helps with weight loss. I'm going to show you specifically how you can do that. Now we've got some free weights here. Free weights are fantastic to use. Free weights make you work your whole body, so technique is really important here as well. So in terms of which free weights you should use, it's all about what we call sets and reps. Now you want to be working out with the right number of repetitions. Now the guidelines say we should be working out with 8 to 12 repetitions within one set. So basically you lift a weight 8 to 12 times, then you rest, and then maybe you do it again, or maybe you do another exercise and then come back and do another set afterwards. The point of that 8 to 12 reps though is that you should be fatiguing the muscle. So if I was to do 8 to 12 repetitions here, by the 8th repetition I should be finding it a little bit tough, and then my muscle would have tired out, and that's the point that you need to get to. Now the problem with 8 to 12 repetitions is that you have to pick up a reasonably heavy weight sometimes in order to fatigue your muscles within that time. Now this weight is pretty big. Now the problem with that, is if I'm going to use this weight, I'm going to have to heave my body, and what that means is I'm using bad technique. So this is what I suggest you do, and I know this works, so it's worth doing, is you find a lighter weight for a higher repetition. So you're going to work from 15 to 20 rather than 8 to 12. So I'm going to pick up a lighter weight, and that means I can perform the exercise with really good form, keeping my core muscles nicely connected as I do the exercise, work to 15 to 20 repetitions, and then you've done your set, then you move on to the next exercise. So we'll keep with that base for now. Now I've got a selection of weights here that will be really good for you to start with. So I've got some 2 kilogram weights here, which are quite nice and light, quite easy to use, and then some 4 kilograms, and then also slightly larger weight, which is a 6 kilogram weight here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do a mini weight circuit. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work the legs, and we're going to do a squat action. And when you pick up your weights, look at the position I'm in. My back is nice and tall. I'm going to use my legs to lift. I'm basically going to do a squat to lift up the weights. So I'm going to push through my legs. My back stays neutral. I'm going to lift the weights up. I'm going to push through my heels to lift up. That's really, really important. So I'm standing sideways onto you because I want you to see my back position again. I'm holding the weights by my side, drawing the shoulder blades back and down, and I'm anchoring. I'm using the weights literally to anchor my shoulders down. What you don't want is this kind of action. You need to draw the shoulders back and down. Now to go into a squat position, you need to drop your weight into your heels. I can wiggle my toes here. I'm going to turn around so you can see my toes a little bit better. I'm going to wiggle my toes here. So you can see that my toes are not ground into the floor, but my heels are. I'm just going to go down a little way, taking my butt back behind me. Now if you look and check, my back should stay in the same line. I'm really pulling in through my stomach muscles. I'm going to drop down and then lift back up. You don't have to drop down too far. Obviously the more you do this, then you can drop lower into a squat, but just a little squat, dropping down so that your knees are bent and you're working just above that 90-degree line at the knee joint, and then lift back up and pushing and powering through my heels. I'm finishing the movement squeezing through my bottom. That's really important. So you make it a bum exercise. Again, so watch, I'm lowering down and then lifting back. And all the way through the action, my back stays nice and long. And the other thing you don't want to do, I'm going to do it wrong for the moment. You don't want to be doing this. You don't want to be sticking your chin up as well. So your shoulders stay down, butt back behind you, and lift up through. Now again, we're going to work to that 15 to 20 repetition base. So basically you go to 15 reps, you think, oh, are my legs feeling this? Are they aching a little bit? Do I need to stop? Are they tired? If they are, then you stop. If they're not, keep going up to 20. If you've reached 20 and they still haven't fatigued, you still haven't felt that tiredness in your legs, then you actually probably need a heavier weight. So that's your first exercise. The next exercise I'm going to show you is an exercise for the back, and it's going to work the whole body with a focus on the back muscles, and this is called a bent over row. Now I'm going to pick the 4 kilogram weight up for this one. Again, look, my back is neutral, so come up and pick the weight up. I'm going to hold, that's a 2, on the floor. I'm going to hold the weight in front. Now watch my position. To do this correctly, you've got to have your body in a forward lean position. If I was up here and I started to do the action, I'd be pulling into my neck and my shoulder, and I don't want that. So I'm going to lean all the way forwards. My butt goes back behind me, my back stays nice and long. If you find this quite difficult, you can actually lean onto something, for a little bit of extra support, and do it that way. So I'm in a position where my back is near horizontal, not completely, but near horizontal. I'm then going to draw my elbow back behind me and then lower back down. And this is a good rowing position. It's called a single arm row. As I do this, I'm working my core muscles, which means I'm pulling in through my stomach, pulling up through my center, making sure my back doesn't move. Again, I'm going to do it incorrectly. Incorrectly would be to round the back. Yep, you don't want to do that, you're going to hurt your back. Yep. So you take your butt out and you work in this position here. Now the common mistake, is to start doing this. Bringing yourself up almost vertical. It won't work if you do that. You've got to stay down, butt back behind you, work into position. Again, 15, 20 reps, feel that fatigue. And the position where I want to feel fatigue is right in the back here, into the back muscles. What you'll also find is that your legs will be working as well, so you may feel a little bit of fatigue there, but concentrate on that back. So there's 2 exercises. Moving on to the next one, we're going to do a lunge now. I'm going to go back to my heavier weights, because we're going to focus back on the legs again. So I'm taking hold of my weights, holding them to the side, drawing my shoulder blades back and down. I'm going to step back with my right leg. I'm going to go into like a split lunge position. Now when you step back, make sure that your feet stay in line with your hips. So you don't want to take them crossing behind each other, and you don't want them too wide, because that's going to affect your knees and basically mean that you're not going to be in such a good position posturally. So you want to have your back up nice and tall. And here's the other thing, I need my weight into my heel again, so I'm going to feel if I can wiggle my toes, So that front foot there, I've got to be able to wiggle my toes, weights into the heel. Now I've got to be able to do that all the way down into the lunge, and if I find I'm going to do it incorrectly, I'm pushing my knee forwards, I can't wiggle my toes, I can't lift them to the floor, so I've got to take my back leg slightly further back. Now I'm going to push my hip underneath me, so my back is vertical, and I'm going to lower down, making sure that my front knee doesn't go over my toe. And then I'm going to lift back up, and I'm pushing through my heel, and as I come up, I really push through my heel and squeeze into the buttock on this side. And then I'm going to lower down again and lift back up. And again, I'm going to do 15 to 20 repetitions on one side, and then change legs and do the same thing on the other side. Watch the knee of this back leg here. It comes underneath, so the knee and the hip and the shoulder are in line. Keep drawing the shoulders down, keep looking straight ahead. Make sure your feet are hip width apart, pull your stomach muscles in, lots to think about. And then you lower down, I'm pushing through my front heel. Again, I can wiggle those toes, and then lower back down and lift back up again. Got one more exercise to show you, and this is to work the chest muscles. So I'm going to work through the chest, but it's also going to work the arms as well. So we've done our row to work the back, we're now going to work through the front. Now this is called a chest press. I'm going to work with the 4 kilogram weights here, but you might find that you prefer to use the 2. You often find that your back muscles can take a slightly heavier weight than the chest muscles. But my back and chest are fairly even, so I'm going to work with the 4s. And I'm going to grab this ball. Now, you can do this exercise working with a bench, like the bench we've got over here. And that's very traditional, that's what you'll find. There'll be loads of those in the gym, and you'll see loads of people doing chest presses on that bench. I don't like them very much, and I'll tell you why. When you're on that bench, you're very fixed in your position. And what happens is that you don't get as good movement through the upper body, but also your core muscles shut down, they don't work, because basically the bench is taking your weight. By using this ball, you have to balance, you have to control your movement. That means you work your core, you work your stomach muscles. It also means you burn more calories because you're using more energy to stay upright on the ball. It's not so easy though to use the ball, so I'm going to show you how to use it. So first thing, I'm going to sit on the ball. I'm going to hold my weights in very close to my body. Now the height of the ball needs to be in a position so that your legs are bent around 90 degrees. If you're lower, you need to pump your ball up some more. If you're higher, you need to take the ball down. Now this is quite a large ball, and you can see my body weight is squashing it down, so it's quite flat. This makes it less cylindrical, which basically means it's easier for me to balance on. I've got to control my core to stay upright on the ball, but it's not as bad as if it was a lot more cylindrical in shape. So basically, if you want to work harder, you pick a smaller ball and you pump it up harder so that it's slightly less stable. It's got a less flat bottom, and it means that there's less contact to the floor of the ball, which means it's harder to balance on. Hope that makes sense. So I'm now going to roll down on my ball, taking little steps. Now I'm pulling my stomach muscles in. I'm going to carefully roll down using my stomach as I go down until my back is on the ball. I'm then going to rest my head back onto the ball and make sure that my head is supported and also that my hips are off the ball, but I'm going to push my hips up and activate my glutes. And that's what's so great about this as an exercise, is that I'm now using my bum. You would not be using your bum if you were on that bench, yep? So I'm squeezing up, working my butt muscles. I'm pulling in through my stomach muscles. I'm then going to bring the weights in line with my chest. Elbows are resting on the sides of the ball, and this is the other nice thing about the ball, is you can feel the shape of the ball to get the shape of the exercise that you want to use. Again, you can't do that on the bench. You draw your shoulder blades back and down, and you should be looking directly at the ceiling, and your head should be in a position where it feels comfortable and you don't feel like your neck is extending or that your chin is shoved in towards your chest. You then press up, keeping your hips lifted, squeezing through your buttocks, and then lower down again. Again, you're working for 15 to 20 repetitions. Look at my wrists, they're staying nice and straight. Try not to bend the wrists. Yep, keep the wrists nice and straight. And pushing up. Each time I press up, I breathe out. So I breathe out and then inhale as I come back down. And each time I press up, I think of hollowing my stomach muscles and squeezing my bottom at the same time. I'm going to do it badly for you. And you see this happening a lot in gyms. You don't want to be doing it like this. There's no core control. You push up and press. So again, 15 to 20 repetitions. When you're coming back up off the ball, just roll back the way you came up. You then repeat that through, maybe 2, maybe 3 times. The number of times you repeat your circuit very much depends on how you're feeling. When you first do this, you might find 1 set of each exercises. So you do your squats, your bent over row, your lunge, then your chest press. You might find that's enough. As you get more used to it, repeat it through a second, a third, maybe a 4th time, and I'll guarantee you'll get a great tone to your body and you'll increase that lean muscle tissue.